stand up together. And that's what we were doing that day, demanding to see the conditions on the 10th floor. And as many of you know, we sat in and we wouldn't leave because they would not let us see what was happening with our neighbors. They went so far as to put duct tape on the doors rather than even let us look inside. And so today we had a case conference on the charge. We were all with the same Class C misdemeanor for obstruction. So I'm going to let others talk for a minute about their experience on that day and today, and then I'll come back at the end and talk about that.
I'll start. So, we stood in solidarity together to inspect the conditions back in September. They would not show us the conditions. They duct taped the door. They refused to let us in after we respectfully, repeatedly asked to enter the facility. And we refused to leave. We sat on the floor. We told our stories, why we were here. We told the stories of constituents in our districts that were impacted. Since then, ICE activity has ramped up. We're hearing ICE patrolling neighborhoods around schools, after school. We're on ICE watches in the community. It is insistent and rampant in our community. So we were proud to join together in this action and stand up against ICE. What many of us decided to take was something called an ACD, which means we cannot be arrested inside federal property for 6 months. And if we cooperate, then the charges will be dismissed. So that's what I took. And but we definitely continue to plan to hold ICE accountable. Doesn't mean we can't protest outside 26 Federal Plaza. Doesn't mean we can't protest inside. It just means we cannot be arrested for 6 months. So we continue to hold ICE accountable. We'll continue to fight, and we'll continue to call out the harm, the fascism that's happening in our state and city of New York.
And I just want to reiterate what our colleagues were saying. Just because we have ACDs and we can't protest in Federal Plaza doesn't mean we're not going to keep speaking up and standing up for our immigrant New Yorkers and our neighbors. What they're doing is un-American. Secret police and masks is not the American way. I have so many constituents in my district who are scared because of their color of their skin, that they also could be apprehended. My mom is Latina, much darker than I am, who lives in the West Coast. She shouldn't fear living in a country where she is a citizen based on a ridiculous, skewed Supreme Court ruling giving the fascists in the White House an ability to abuse his power. And you saw what New Yorkers did on Canal Street. We're here in solidarity to say we're going to keep standing up the more they break the law. They should not be allowed to do this in America. They should not be allowed to be masked. That's why I have a bill to unmask them. They should not be allowed to have people live in fear and not have due process. People with green cards and citizens, people who overstay their visas. These are not criminal offenses, they're civil offenses. We need to reform our immigration system, but this is not the way you do it. And you see the polls going against the president and Stephen Miller and his minions, that this is not the way you reform our immigration system, by arresting people of color in our country. And New Yorkers are going to stand up more and more. We're just getting started.
I want to add on to what you said, Assembly Member. I went and saw some historians speak last night at Columbia,